Welcome back, everybody. Well, it took a while, but we finally got him on the title screen. And it's honestly really fitting that Cheshire would be our final focus here on this title screen, because this is the last time we'll see it in this playthrough. Welcome to the final episode of Bayonetta 3 that I'll be giving you today. Admittedly, I do think that some of the bonus stuff got a little away from me. I was not expecting the files and the lore to be
Bayonetta.
that extensive. I was originally gonna make it one video, and now it's two. But I always intended for this specific thing to be the last little thing to go here. So for starters, we gotta go to the shop. And there's one thing to buy that we haven't actually taken a look at yet under Rodon's treasures. And that's the old picture book. A worn picture book that can't be opened without some work. No returns or refunds. This is a thing you could have bought the whole game, and obviously we had that big pop up when the game really started about it. But this is a thing that in the original version of the game before the 1.2 update, you would have to buy this, beat the game, and then you go to three random levels at random points to go to the Chaos Dimension and find some keys to open this up. But since they just give you the keys now, I held off on buying it until just this moment. So let's do that. And then we'll back out with that now bought. And now it sits right here. And so now, with all three of these bindings released, we can open this book. And we get a little warning that we might not be able to return for some time. But, that's open. Let's see what they mean by that. So this looks pretty different. Now, when this game came out, if you were lucky enough to find those keys and open this door, or open this book and then go inside, this is a really confusing little thing. We press our buttons and they don't really do anything. We can't run, can't move the camera. This feels like a different game entirely. And as it would turn out, that's kind of because it is. So, Bayonetta 3 came out in
Cereza
October.
shivered at the thought of what lay ahead, but curiosity got the better of her.
Okay. So Bayonetta 3 came out in October, and then in December we had the Game Awards. Bayonetta 3 won Best Action Game, but around that same time, during the award ceremony, they ended up playing us a little trailer for a game called Bayonetta Origins, Cereza and the Lost Demon. And this is just a chunk of that game, serving as a bit of a Easter egg or a bit of a teaser, I guess you could say. And if all goes well, this video is going up the day that game is out on March 17th. So I want to say this for last because this serves as a nice kind of bookend, or a nice kind of, I guess, jumping off point for covering that game potentially down the line. But at this point, I don't really know much about it. I have not tried to watch too much. There's a demo that is out on the Switch eShop as of right now that you can carry your save data to the full game. But I haven't actually played that yet. It's a very weird little thing. This was a really weird kind of out there surprise at the end here, and then that announcement made everything make a little more sense. We can't really look at Bayonetta,
She ventured onwards.
but too closely. Like, she does look a lot younger here, kind of similar to how she looks when the Congestus attacks her. And she's got her little Cheshire plush right there, which she's actually had since way back in Bayonetta 1. And there's a lot of theories as of now as to which Bayonetta this is supposed to be. Is this like Viola's mom? Is this the Bayonetta we play as for most of 3? Is this the little Cereza that was brought back from Bayo 1?
Is someone out there?
It's hard to really say. Very mysterious. And ultimately, I am very cautiously optimistic with Bayonetta Origins, because it looks like it's a quite different game from the usual. So you can see I'm collecting little concoction ingredients by going in these little hedges. We can't do much with them actually in this. You can see we've got more or less all the things you would expect. There's this bramble everywhere that's really blocking where we can go. But I want you to remember this location. It's pretty important. But yeah, at the time I was playing this, it's like, oh, this is a strange little thing. Is there going to be like a spin-off or something? And yeah, sure enough. To get a real origin story for Bayonetta is pretty interesting, I think.
Must have been a rabbit or something. Right, Cheshire?
But, because, as of right now, a lot of Bayonetta's past is actually fairly mysterious. There's a 500-year period we don't really know about between, Bayo 1's opening sequences and stuff, and then the rest of the series. And of course, now we have the multiverse that can kind of muddy the waters here.
A plant from Inferno. I wonder how it will respond to my magic.
But yeah, we're in weird times. So Witch Pulse here seems to be a little rhythm game. You just tilt the stick in the direction of the lit up little symbol here. And here we go. And now we have a way forward. This fruit seems like it's important, but our magic circle doesn't really do anything to it that I can see. We can't really go anywhere else, so I guess we'll just venture forward. But yeah, at the end of the day, this game seems very interesting, what they're going for with Bayo Origins. Oh, there's a little thing there, it looks like.
Looking into the dark underbrush, Cereza could not shake the feeling that someone was looking back.
And we can see this is a very different presentation and just kind of style compared to the old games. We gotta keep that held down. And I'll be the first to admit, a slower paced kind of puzzle based Bayonetta game that seems to put a lot more emphasis on story, that's not necessarily what I'm interested in for a Bayonetta game, but it does intrigue me, is this something worth investing in? Now, the game wants us to go across that little vine, but let's actually venture a little bit and explore, because we actually can go over here. Platinum, they mostly are known for action stuff, but they've mentioned they want to, branch out and do different things, and, going back to Clover Studios days, before Platinum itself was really a thing, they made weird games occasionally. They weren't always just the distinct little action things we see now. So, this kind of feels like they're kind of returning to their roots, and I guess from what little I've heard from the director for this game, it kind of sounds like this is a passion project. And also this also I swear.
One foot in front of the other.
Sorry, I mean to keep cutting her off. I swear that and by the way, don't go much forward here. We want to actually go to the right here as much as we can. But I swear there was a game that Platinum was originally trying to develop on the Wii that didn't really go anywhere. It was something around the idea of a little girl fighting alongside like a dragon or something. And then that was, I think, a potential idea for Bayonetta, I think, is at one point, and also Scalebound, I think, was another retool of that concept. And I think this is them just kind of trying to finally get some closure with that idea, which is kind of interesting. So we got these 3 little rhythm sections completed. And if we head all the way back along this path here, we gotta do a little bit of backtracking. There's something for us here. This is something that kind of makes this whole little weird presentation thing, I think, viable and a reason to look at it. So we gotta go all this way back, and we have something that should be worth the effort here. See, I don't know. It's very strange. Like, Platinum's in a weird spot right now, I think, where their games are of varying quality. Financially, they're not doing amazing. And Bayonetta is like their flagship, but then 3's ending kind of spoiled it a little bit. But, you know, who knows? They might have something for us here. So let's open this chest.
Yes!
So we got a little something there. And we will see what that is momentarily, but we'll head back and I'll keep kind of blabbing a bit, I guess. Ultimately, yeah, I want Bayonetta Origins to do well, but it's really outside of Platinum's wheelhouse. I think Bayo 3's ending kind of soured a lot of fans on seeing more in general, you know, and this being a $60 release on the Switch, a lot of people are a little apprehensive. I'm definitely a little apprehensive, but I'm willing to give it a shot. Although I feel like if this game doesn't actually, like, do anything for me, I might be not as receptive to the next Platinum game if there is another one, you know? But I want there to be more. So we'll continue forward down the path where we originally were heading down. And this looks really nice. This is a really pretty art style. I think this is a cute little design for Bayo here. This has promise, for sure. This has a lot of charm. It has a lot of stylistic flair. But it is a really big question mark as to what to expect next here.
Going to Avalon Forest.
I'm an Umbra Witch!
Yes, my dearest Cereza.
Still can't save anyone.
What could this be? Cereza. No!
So that's quite the cliffhanger. And keep in mind, this game came out, and if you found this and played through this, this is all you get, and it was really confusing. A lot of people, I think, were assuming it was going to be DLC, but it's a full-price game. That said, because we did those little puzzles, we have now gotten Super Mirror Zero added to the shop. So we'll head back to the shop and get that. We unlocked it, but we still have to buy it, which is interesting. So we'll go down to Rodon's Treasures again, scroll down a bit, and here it is for 100 halos. Comes with the Training Frock Couture Bullet, so we'll buy that. We'll exit, and we'll try that on to kind of close things out here. So we'll go to training mode as we've been doing, and we'll see what we can get for this. Yes, I don't know. It's a bit of a weird way to kind of end this, I think. Like, obviously, the length of this video is, you know, the complete opposite of what we got before. But we go to the costume thing here, and you saw this when I did the costume selection last time, and I actually did leave one out because I wanted to do this separate. Super Mirror Zero has us dressed just like that little training thing, which, let's actually change up our weapon here. So yeah, we're wearing a more adult version of that outfit. We can actually mess around in here a little bit. So yeah, this is a cool little bonus, I would say. As you can see, there was no color like customization or anything on it. We're just kind of stuck with this. But you know what? That's kind of neat. You know, is one final little upgrade. You know, she's got the little like crystal kind of teardrop on her face with this. We still got the Cheshire plush here. I'm gonna just turn the enemies off for a second. We don't need to see them anymore. See if I get up close here, you can see the Cheshire plush right there. And yeah, the hair is done up like she has like a cat girl kind of motif going. Like the hair is like a tail, and then she's got her hair buns look like ears. It's an interesting look for that game and translated to this one, I guess. Obviously, these two games must have been developed in tandem. Part of me wonders if maybe like the huge gap from Bayo 3's announcement to release was due to them realizing they want to do a spin-off. It's hard to really say. And as of right now, I don't really know obviously the reception of this game. Like the reviews seem mostly positive from what I've seen. But also at the same time, it's a little mixed. And yeah, people are not super like happy to see a non-actiony platinum game, and it's in many cases just it's not what you go there for platinum. So I'm nervous. I want to have high hopes. At the end of the day, it does just kind of it makes Bayonetta 3's entire saga very interesting. Seeing it go this way from being very much looked forward to, years of radio silence and no updates whatsoever, the voice actor controversy right before release, the actual mixed reception after release, and then this new game coming out just a few months. It's strange. We went 5 years with no Bayo 3 news or anything like that, and then we get Bayo 3's release and a spin-off within a few months of each other. It's kind of crazy to think that Bayonetta is now a franchise with technically 4 installments when originally Bayo 2 was not going to be a thing because no one else wanted to foot the bill until Nintendo showed up. So I'm happy the franchise is here. I wish I could be more excited for this, but 3 kind of burned me. And as you saw with this whole deal, I think that Bayo 3 has some highs, it has some lows. It's definitely not. I would not say it's a bad game. I would say, in fact, it is a pretty good game, but I have some asterisks next to it if I were to recommend it to people. If you like the Bayonetta story, I think this game's a massive disappointment. I don't come to Bayonetta for good storytelling, but even with low expectations, I was still kind of appalled. And, the action is good, but you're frequently asked to do set piece stuff and all the demon, little changes to gameplay that might not be your cup of tea. Viola feels really undercooked, and if you don't like the demon summoning as the core mechanic, get used to it because that's the bulk of the gameplay. And then you factor in the presentation and the performance issues. And yeah, it sadly is a game that has a couple issues that hold it back, I think. And I haven't really talked about this before now, but if you're at all familiar with Devil May Cry 5, this game kind of feels like it's trying to crib off of that a little bit. Devil May Cry 4 introduced Nero as like a replacement protagonist to Dante to a degree, but they didn't really pass the franchise off to him in that game. He was more introduced. And then that series had its own ups and downs from that point. And then 5 came out in 2019, just 2 years after Bayo 3 had been announced. And 5 was this massive return to form. It fully completed Nero inheriting like the main protagonist title. It put a lot of closure to things that had been in the series up until that point. and it has a very similar ending to Bayonetta 3, but the execution between those two is staggering. Let's just say 5 explains things better, is a bit more open-ended and optimistic with its ending, and at this point most people like Nero, and if there is a Devil May Cry 6 with Nero on the front box and Dante potentially not being there or being there in a much more limited capacity, you won't get that much backlash, I think. There will be some, obviously. People will always hate change, but like for the most part, that series did a very good job reviving itself. And part of me feels like that game came out, Platinum's in the middle of developing Bayo 3, and they scrambled and went, oh no, we have to compete with that. And so they tried to, work this stuff in. I have no source for this. I'm pulling this out of my ass. I have no clue, right, if that's real or not. But it kind of feels real to me. Like, I don't know if Viola was part of the original design documents for this, right? I mean, think about it. She has the least amount of levels in the entire game. She never gets any extra weapons or really extra mechanics to mess with. Like, she gets her little awakened form, but that's just a screen clear. It's that felt like a relatively easy thing to implement compared to, giving her an extra weapon moveset or something. She's not really in the story much, right? All she does is just track Luca down, but that easily could have just been something Bayonetta did in her off time between levels. And she awkwardly is just kind of inserted into some cutscenes, like right at the end when they're fighting Singularity, and then she just kind of shows up. Like, where was she? Why couldn't we play as her? In the meantime, like leading up to her showing up to help in that fight, but then she doesn't do anything in that final fight. So it's like you could cut Viola out of this game pretty easily, basically, and hardly anything would really change. And yet we're supposed to accept her as the new protagonist. It's a little strange. I don't mean to keep blabbing here, but this is the final episode, so I want to just get my thoughts out and make sure I've said all that needs to be said. I think Platinum bit off a little more than they could chew. This game is no Devil May Cry 5, that's for sure. It's still got some good points. I still enjoyed my time with it. I mean, enough to play through this game as extensively as I could for like a second time. And Platinum has mentioned that they will be making a Bayonetta 4, and Kamiya kind of got out ahead of any fervor and mentioned that, like, yeah, we're gonna address some of this, like, these complaints. We were not as clear as we should have been with some things. So who knows, maybe in a year or two, maybe when the Switch 2 comes out or whatever, we'll get a trailer one day and it's like, hey, here's Bayonetta 4, and it's just Cereza and Viola having a fun time. Who knows? They could do anything. With the whole multiverse angle, they could just say, oh yeah, we're following a different Bayo now with Viola around. They could just retcon this. They could stick with it, and you just play Viola the whole game. And I would love to see the internet melt down to that, but who knows? I would like to be excited for a Bayonetta 4, but we gotta see how Bayonetta Origins turns out, I guess. So with that said, if you made it this far, I appreciate you watching. If you're at all intrigued, Bayonetta Origins has a demo on the Switch. You can try that. I'll probably try that after I finish with this. It's out. It should be out now. So give that a shot if you're interested, I suppose. I might do a playthrough of that, depending on how well that is received, how well I like it. If I don't like it, I might not record it. If it turns out to be a game where it's like a real slog to get through, or like, I don't know, just something about it just makes it off-putting for some reason, I might just skip it for that reason. But we'll see. I am not averse to playing it, but I don't know very much. I don't know if it's very long or very short. If there's a bunch of stuff I'd have to cut out. If there's like a lot of dead air, who knows? But let's cross our fingers and hope for the best. And hopefully the next time this witch graces my channel, we can be in a bit more of a positive place over it. But with that said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you around.
make me wait.